Hey everybody, Dustin Dale's back here once again. I'm at the Funny Bone Comedy Club, 168th and Dodge, and this weekend at the Cub, we got Tim Gaither. You got his special right here, live from Las Vegas. Definitely come out this weekend, check that out, pick up that DVD, and hang out with him. Ask him a question or two. He'll chat with you for a little bit. How you doing, Tim?
Good. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good, man. I appreciate you hanging out here in Omaha.
Yeah.
When was the last time you were through town?
It's been probably a year and a half.
Year and a half? Okay.
About that.
Now, the Olympics are going on right now. Is there any special events or anything like that you like?
I like all of the Olympics. Wrestling is my sport, though. I wrestled for 15 years, and wrestling's a great sport, but if you decide you don't want to coach it, there's not a lot you can do with it. But I'm a huge fan now, and we're going to do well this year. We've got a lot of studs, but I like all the Olympics. I love swimming and gymnastics and diving and track. It's awesome. I mean, I'll sit there. It'll be like 3 o'clock in the morning before I'm like, oh, man, I got to go to bed. This isn't my life here, you know. But, yeah, I enjoy the heck out of the Olympics.
Now, when you used to wrestle, did you ever have big dreams of maybe doing the Olympics one day as a wrestler?
Yeah, when I was a kid in '84 and I watched the Olympics, and that was the year the U.S. or it was the Soviet Union back then, they boycotted. Mm-hmm. So we won, most of the gold medals. And that made me want to do it. But then I got a little older, and I was like, well, maybe state champion would be a better goal for me. And I was a state champion, but those guys, I don't know if you've ever seen an international wrestling tournament. I went to Worlds this year. Those guys are just freaking amazing. Yeah. I mean, if you bump into one of them in the hallway, it hurts because they are just made out of rock. And, I couldn't score a point on those guys to save my life. I wrestled a couple years in college, and high school, I cut all that weight, but I knew I was going to win. In college, you cut all that weight, and you might get your butt kicked. The first college match I ever wrestled, the first tournament I ever wrestled in, I had to wrestle this guy that was like 5 years older than me. He was like a fifth-year senior, and he was kind of my idol when I was a kid. And I was like, if I win my first match, I got to wrestle Brian Roberts. And so I'm all nervous, and I win my first match, and then I go watch Brian Roberts, who was like my childhood idol, and he gets beat by like 12 points. And now I got to wrestle that guy, and he took me down. I think he took me down more in one match than I got taken down in 4 years of high school, probably including practice. I mean,
was that your wake-up call?
Well, that guy didn't even win the tournament. I think
really?
he got like second or third. So yeah, it's just like, and those guys. That was like, I wrestled junior college and the Division I guys. Those are freaking studs. And then you'll find some guy that's won 3 or 4 national titles, and you're like, oh, that guy's gonna be an Olympic champion, and he can't even make the team because those guys are so good. And so it's amazing. I don't know how funny this is, but wrestling's cool.
Well, I was worried there for a little while. It looked like the Olympics were going to cut wrestling, which to me it seemed really weird because to me, if I think of Olympics, I think wrestling is one of those key sports. Yeah. And if they're going to cut wrestling, like how can they live in other sports? You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's the oldest sport there is, and it actually helped. It actually helped when they threatened to take it away because it really brought the wrestling community together, and they're like, what's going on here? How are we going to let this happen? And now we at least have it through 2020, but it's still contingent. It's still on some kind of contingency plan, but they're not going to take it away. I think that would be riots if there was. I mean, because it's a big deal. I mean, right. In America, it's not as popular as we would like it to be, but in other countries, I mean, if you're a stud wrestler in Russia or somewhere, I mean, if you won the Olympics in 1972 and you're from the United States and you go to Russia, they treat you like you're a god. I mean, so it's just a different world over there, and they do a lot of steroids too, apparently, but. Keep getting away with that, don't they? Yeah,
they do. It seems like, especially this year, they got a few people banned. So Russia's got some things going on right now.
They've got some wrestlers that I've seen. Like I saw him like 5 years ago, and he was the same weight class, but now his muscles just look different. They're like growing on top of each other, and they're just like coming out of his freaking ears. And I'm like, yeah, that guy's juicing. And I've known people who did juice, and they're like, yeah, that's what it looks like.
Right. Now, another thing going on this week, schools all around the country starting to go back to school. Were you much of a student in school?
No. I stayed eligible to wrestle, but other than that, I did not. I actually did better in college than I did in high school. All I did in high school was cheat.
I think we all did a little bit of that.
That's pretty much all I did. I don't know how I didn't cheat in college. I was always too scared to, but in high school... Don't do that, kids. But, yeah, I cheated quite a bit.
Did you have a favorite subject at all?
Not really. I liked history and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
All right.
About to rewrite history, huh? If Donald Trump becomes president.
That's right. Yeah, Donald Trump. He's getting pretty close there. I mean, he obviously won the Republicans, and now it looks like it's pretty even with Hillary at this point.
Yeah, we might have our first special needs president. Who knows?
Maybe.
Yeah, he is a different breed of cat, and like we were saying before this interview, you never meet anybody who's like a Trump supporter, but they're out there. They gotta be, So somebody's voting for that guy, and you need to stop because he's crazy.
We'll see. It's coming up in next November. We'll see. It might be Hillary or Trump. Some say Hillary's the way to go. Some say Trump's the way to go. But we'll see what happens come November.
Well, I think I'm not much on politics, but it seems like we should have more than two choices. And I don't agree with the Electoral College. What was that a few years ago? I think George Bush lost by like 100,000 votes, popular votes, and he still won the election. I'm like, how is that democratic? Like, oh, the Electoral College. I'm like, I get the Electoral College. Don't explain it to me, but it's still stupid. I think. So, anyway.
Yeah, the Electoral College doesn't make a lot of sense, but it seems to work for this point. So I don't know, but I'm with you on that one. Now, this DVD here that you're selling this weekend that people can check out, it's called Live from Las Vegas. You recorded that down in Vegas. And
filmed it in Vegas at the Tropicana Hotel. Russell Peters, do you know who Russell Peters is? He's like one of the biggest comics in the world. He's a friend of mine, and he was nice enough to come out and introduce me, and he did a 5-minute set up front, and that's on there too. And yeah, he's a good guy.
What's it like headlining Vegas on a regular basis?
It's cool. It's easy. They have us do like 35-minute sets, and the crowds are from all over the country, and they're always there to have a good time. So,
how does a Vegas crowd differ from like a Midwest crowd?
They honestly don't that much because they're all from the Midwest generally. Like hardly anybody in the crowd is from Vegas, rarely. And when they are, no one, it's one of those places like L.A. You're not from L.A. You just moved there, so.
It's just L.A. waiting tables, right?
Yeah. I never had to do that, fortunately, but yeah.
Well, that's good, because a lot of people I knew that moved to L.A., they're waiting tables still.
No, I did my waiting tables in Kansas City and waited till I was ready to go out there.
You're using your head.
There's a lot of comics that aren't ready to go out there, and they do, and like, this is hard. And I'm like, yeah, it's hard even if you're good. It sucks. It's not all about who's funniest and all that these days. It's like if you have a meeting with an agent, they're not like, hey, I'd like to see some of your stand-up. They're like, how many Twitter followers do you have? I'm like, do you even care if I'm good at what I do? No,
Right.
It's becoming like less important, it seems like, in this business, And I'm told that. I've been told like, yeah, that's really not that important anymore. I'm like, being funny's not important in stand-up comedy? I'm like, well, shouldn't it be?
You'd think so.
You would think that would be one of the biggest, things, but.
Well, in social media world these days, it seems like however many Twitter followers you have, that's how important you are in this world. That's what it seems like. But you never know. People might follow you a bunch and get you up there. So how can people follow you on social media?
I'm at Gaither Tim on Twitter. I don't tweet a whole lot, but if I get more followers, maybe I will. And I have a Facebook fan page. It's Tim Gaither. And yeah, that's it.
Perfect. Well, his name is Tim Gaither. He's got a DVD right here you can pick up when you come check him out. Live from Las Vegas, from the Laugh Factory. And make sure you check it out this weekend at the Funny Bone Comedy Club, 168th and Dodge. Tim, thank you for hanging out with me, bud. I appreciate it.
You bet, buddy. Take care.
Take care, guys.